You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And hello, my good friends. Great to have you with us. It's now 6 minutes past the hour, and you've arrived at California's #1 place to talk about our state's food and beverage scene with, as always, a local, seasonal, and sustainable focus. This is Eat, Drink, Explore Radio's Market Fresh Hour, and we are very glad to have you with us. I am the host, Randall White. It's our goal to put you in touch with the farmers who grow, the producers who make, and the people who know about your favorite food and drink, and many of the issues surrounding those things. This portion of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Open daily from 10 until 5 with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. And if you head in there right now with an unwrapped toy, you'll get 20% off your tasting room wine purchase. How's that? It's a really great deal. It's all part of their Eberly's annual charity drive. Voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast, Eberly Winery is located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. For more information, you can log on to eberlywinery.com. That's EBERLE winery.com. On Saturday, December the 14th, from noon until 4 is their holiday open house. That's a lot of fun, too. You get to sample Gary's famous barbecue. All right, later on today's program, wine, speaking of Eberly Winery, wine has its sommeliers, beer has its cicerones. We'll learn what it takes to become a master beer taster from one of the few women to earn the title, and she lives right here in California. Also, with all the cold, and I mean really cold, weather we've been having lately, an expert joins us to talk about the plants in your yard and some of the locally grown, like avocados and citrus, that are in danger when the temperature drops below freezing. How cold is too cold, and what you can do. But first up this hour, it is our regular Cook Well with Courtney segment. Great to have you back on the program. Courtney Coleman runs cookwell.org. You can find her online right there. She does a number of cooking schools and classes, and will even come to your home, I believe. Hey, Courtney.
Hi, Randall.
Nice to have you here with us. Did you have a wonderful Thanksgiving?
Yes, I went down to Southern California, saw my aunt. We did the traditional dinner, but I definitely had the greens in there to balance everything out.
Right. Well, good. You gave us plenty of tips. So I'm sure all of us, all the listeners who follow you and that sort of thing, balanced out their Thanksgiving. I did as much balancing as I could.
Yeah.
But I definitely overate last week.
I know. I think we all do, just because it's there. There's so much of it. It's so good. We're with friends and family. And how do you not overeat at Thanksgiving?
So,
it's not going to kill you, but it's kind of not a good habit to have all the time. But I would say once in a while like that.
No, but during the holidays, we do a lot of that. We do it, from Thanksgiving through Christmas and definitely into New Year's Eve. But then come New Year's Day, a lot of us, I don't know if it's through just guilt and shame from what you've done over the last month or so, or if it's just really a desire for that fresh start. Some people will call it a New Year's resolution. Others just say, okay, it's time to get well or cook well, as you say, right?
And I think people are feeling heavier too. All that warming winter food we're eating, the more animal proteins, more fats, pies.
Right.
I think we're feeling a little heavy and toxic, and we want to lighten up or cleanse or just start something new.
So you have a course. One of the courses that you teach is called Whole Food Cooking 101, and it's for busy people. And we're all busy nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
Pardon me.
Excuse me.
I just had a lozenge, and a little part of it went down the wrong way.
That's funny. You coughed, and I said, excuse me.
See, we work well together that way.
I'm empathizing.
So a lot of us want to do whole food cooking. That's what you're all about. But we, many times we think, I have to soak everything. I have to do this. I have to shop at the farmer's market. I just don't have time for it. But you say no. Busy people can tackle this.
Totally.
Starting with eating and cooking with the seasons for balance.
Yes, and that's something that I could talk about separately, and I will. But when I mention to people cooking for their busy lifestyle, it's really just a matter of picking the day of the week that you're less busy.
Okay.
And, segmenting out 2 hours or so to make your big pot of beans and your pot of grain that you can have in the fridge as a base for your meals through the week. And even making a casserole or a big stir fry with grass-fed beef or buffalo or lamb or whatever kind of meats you want to eat, if any at all. Everybody's different. And taking it to work with you in a jar, with an avocado and a lemon. It's really a lot easier than it sounds. If you really want to start feeling well, it helps so much because restaurants and the packaged food that's available as convenience out there for us it's all made with refined ingredients still.
Right.
Yeah, so it helps me feel a lot better, so I'm more motivated to take the time to, just allot 2 hours somewhere to make everything ahead of time, and it just streamlines my routine. And when I'm done with that pot of brown rice, like say I make it on Wednesday, and I'm done with it on Saturday or Sunday, when I'm scraping the bottom of the rest of it out of the bottom of the pot, that's when because I have the routine down, I know to soak more rice to cook tomorrow night when I get home from work.
I do that when I'm scooping out the portion where what I think I'm putting back in the refrigerator is one more serving. That's my red flag. Okay, it's time to start doing some soaking.
Yes. Exactly. Beans or grain, yeah.
And then when you get busy, like with the holidays, and you miss that, and you're like, oh, no, I didn't do the soaking. You can cook without soaking. It's, In fact, we, because we use a pressure cooker so much, you can throw the beans in there or the rice or what have you, and the soaking is not the end of the world. So I think some people feel like it's an all or nothing task,
like
right?
Go extreme or don't even bother. What I tell people is baby step. And if you look in your pantry and you see a bunch of refined ingredients or refined elements for your cooking, like refined oils and refined salts, use them up. And then just next time, 8 months down the road, when you're done with that product, buy the more conscious choice at that time. Don't overwhelm yourself with having to strip your pantry and replace it with all the expensive good stuff right away. Just do it as, is convenient and doable for you. Where
do you think we fall the most? Is it at work when we're leaving to go into work, wherever that may be? Many of us leave without a lunch, or if we do have a lunch, it's a bunch of prepackaged stuff that we got at the store.
Yeah.
And is that where we're making our big mistake mostly?
I think it's different for everyone, but yes. And then when the Halloween time comes around, anytime between October 31st and January 1st, we're right in the middle of the sugar season. So doctors get gifted a lot of candy and pastry and sugar and cakes and cookies and treats from their patients, and that's everybody on staff at the office is tempted by it, and it depends on where you're at in your diet if you want to say no to it completely or just have a little bit, but this is a hard season.
It really is. That's why we have Courtney Coleman with us with cookwell.org. When we come back, fats and oils, unrefined sugars, unrefined salts, greens, and which ones to cook versus eat raw. You're listening to Market Fresh on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Autumn means falling leaves and cool or even cold days, but in Palm Springs, it's the kickoff for the area's fun season with warm, sunny days and exciting, vibrant nights. Right at the center of everything is the newly renovated, all-suite, Hyatt Palm Springs, a classic resort property that sits at the base of the San Jacinto Mountains. The resort features in-room spa services, a poolside bar, cabanas, and the Share Small Plate Bistro and Wine Lounge. Also, just steps away, world-class shopping, some of the state's best dining options, and, for a limited time, the famous Forever Maryland statue. Make your next destination Palm Springs, and while you're there, make your home the all-suite Hyatt. Get the best rates online at HyattPalmSprings.com. That's Hyatt, Hyatt, PalmSprings.com. This fall, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is teaming up with the nation's leading gift company focused on experiences from skydiving to wine tasting, culinary tours to whale watching. You name the activity, and it's likely you'll find it on the Experience Days website. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener to our show, you'll get 15% off anything you buy on the site during the upcoming holiday gift buying season. It's really simple. Just use our 3-letter promo code EDE, which of course stands for Eat, Drink, Explore. Find Experience Days online at the letter Experience Days, all one word.com, or head to our website, eatdrinkexplore.com, and click on the menu tab for holiday gift ideas, and you'll be on your way to finding an abundance of unique gifts and saving a lot of money to boot. Remember the 3-letter promo code EDE for 15% savings on some of the best adventures California has to offer. And welcome back, everyone. Great to have you with us. You're listening to Market Fresh on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. We come to you each and every week at this very time on this very station. And we're very, not to overuse that word, happy to have you with us. Also with us right now is Courtney Coleman. She is a Whole Foods expert, and she joins us from her home in Los Osos on California's Central Coast. She is the woman behind cookwell.org, a wealth of information for you there. You could also meet Courtney in person if you'd like to take one of her cooking classes. Hey, Courtney.
Hello.
Yeah, so it is, we're in the heat of it now, the heat of the holiday season for sure. And so you're going to find that peppermint bark being handed to you. You're going to find chocolates and everything right under the sun.
Yeah. And if you've got your own, if you can take a couple hours on a Sunday to make your own gluten and sugar-free cookies, You can take them to work in a tin with you and offer them to other people, but you have that as sort of like something to fall back on.
Yeah.
There's so many wonderful recipes at glutenfreegoddess.com, and instead of the refined sugars like brown sugar or granulated sugar that some of those recipes call for, you can simply replace with coconut sugar or Rapidura sugar is also called something called sucanat. Or if you want to go completely sugar-free, the New Naturals company has a liquid vanilla stevia called, it says, with singing dog vanilla bean, and it's really good. It has no bitter aftertaste.
Oh, good. That's why people typically don't like those artificial sweeteners, and artificial sweeteners in general aren't very good for you, but stevia is different, right?
Yeah, it's from a plant, and it's not chemical. A lot of artificial sweeteners like saccharin and aspartame actually are considered neurotoxins. They actually kill brain cells.
Yikes.
I know. So a lot of the stevias out there, especially the powdered ones, do have that bitter aftertaste. But this one I've found is a way better brand, and you can even use it in conjunction with a whole sugar like grade B maple syrup or the coconut sugar, and just use half the amount of sugar it calls for, and you're using a whole sugar, but then a teaspoon of that vanilla stevia just accentuates the sweetness of that natural sweetener, and you've got yourself a wonderful brown rice and buckwheat, brown rice flour and buckwheat cookie. I've been using almond extract and almonds.
I love almond extract in just about anything.
Yeah, I know, me too. And some people do, some people don't. But, with dark chocolate chips and cranberries, like dried cranberries or dried cherries, they're just a wonderful cookie as a staple sweet treat to kind of have as an arsenal of an alternative for yourself or for anybody wanting to try something healthier.
You know what I am trying to make, especially this time of year because it warms up the kitchen and the rest of the house, but I bake muffins, and last night for the very first time I made them using oat flour.
Nice.
Which is gluten-free, and I can't tell the difference. So
they're not that bad. Yeah.
I almost wonder why people just don't go ahead and use that in place of the other. And so, I have a lot of friends that are gluten intolerant. So when I have the muffins at the house, I feel bad if I can't say, hey, would you like one? So anyway, I made them with the oat flour, and it was an experiment, and it came out fantastic, really good.
And if you're using the coconut oil or the good quality butter as opposed to these, the package of Costco muffins,
right?
They're using the refined canola or soybean vegetable oils that are really not good for us.
And there's a really good chance that those are GMOs as well.
Yeah,
really good chance, unless it says organic on it. Something like 90 to 95% of all of the soybean oil out there. Also, the I guess is it canola? Oil?
Canola, corn, soy, and cotton were the first 4 GMO crops that were widespread.
Right.
Now it's gone to yellow crookneck squash, zucchini.
Really?
Yeah, Hawaiian papaya, sugar from sugar beets, I believe, and one other one. I mean, wheat and alfalfa are next on the list. So it's sad that the GMO thing is really spreading.
Hats off to the county of Kauai there in Hawaii for they're pushing a non-GMO ordinance there.
Wonderful.
And,
wonderful.
They're the first county to take it on. And, they didn't put it up for a public vote, so that way there's not that opportunity for the big companies to come in and spend $1 zillion to convince you why it's bad. So, Courtney, I did want to mention on those muffins that I made, at your urging, I used coconut oil, and I did what you said to do. I put it in a Pyrex measuring cup and then heated it up. And then mixed it in, and I gotta tell you, these muffins, I gotta post the recipe because they're just so good. So I'll do that at eatdrinkexplore.com under our recipes section. But let's get back to what you're talking about, Whole Foods 101 for busy lifestyle. And so far you've talked about some of the areas of cooking for a busy lifestyle and how you can get into patterns to help yourself.
Routine.
Fats and oils, the unrefined sweeteners. What about unrefined salts?
Well, there's so many wonderful ones available now that aren't just sodium chloride. So that Morton Salt girl, you want to throw her out.
Oh, poor girl, but she's got an umbrella to land on.
She has an umbrella. She's fine. And she only it costs $2 for that, right? Where your unrefined salts maybe cost twice that much, so you might pay like $4 or $5 for the same amount.
But they last for 6 months, a year.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a wonder. I call it investing. It's like your health insurance, you know, buying the better products with more integrity, the virgin coconut oil, the unrefined whole sea salts like the Himalayan pink or the Celtic, the light gray Celtic, or the Portuguese, or real salt, the one in the blue and red canister you can get at Trader Joe's even. It's just such a wonderful, it's something your body needs, all those trace minerals that are present in that real whole salt as nature gives it to us, as opposed to the sodium chloride, which is something the body, you don't find it anywhere in nature. It's refined by man. Yeah. And the body just goes, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, it turns the blood acidic as opposed to alkaline, like the whole sea salts are alkalizing. The refined salts are acid forming. And
you can tell the difference just by pouring a little in your hand. If it all bounces apart in neat little tiny salt squares, then it's refined.
Yeah, it should be a little kind of clumpy and off color.
Exactly, clumpy and off color and not so perfect, you know.
Yeah. The fine ground, I find that the ones that will pour through a salt shaker that are nice. The pink, the Himalayan pink, if it's fine ground, and the real salt from Trader Joe's. Yeah. It's actually from Utah, but they have it at Trader Joe's. And that one, those two are nice and not clumpy.
I have a sea salt right now that is fine ground, and at first I was sort of taken aback because it poured very much like the Morton Salt Grill, and I was like, well, wait a minute. But no, it's like you said, if it's the fine ground. Or get yourself a salt mill and buy the big chunks.
Oh, yeah.
So finally, greens and which ones to cook versus eating raw. And I think some people, especially with this big kale craze, this is where they sort of get stuck.
Yes, raw greens that you don't want to eat. Well, greens that you don't want to eat raw are the ones in the sulfur, with a lot of sulfur, the broccoli family vegetables. Especially if you have sensitive digestion. A lot of people find, well, I do, that if I eat a raw bite of broccoli at a party, you know, they have the tray of dip and raw veggies all around it. Well, I find that raw broccoli just kind of gurgles around in my stomach. It feels like it's not really digesting well. Yeah. And that's because of the sulfur. Sulfur is really hard for the body to break down. So I always at least lightly steam everything in the broccoli family. So that would be the Brussels sprouts and kale and stuff.
Yeah, and that broccoli family, I just saw a post on Twitter the other day that I found really interesting. I did not realize that broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, and kale are all pretty much the same. But they're just slight variations of the same family.
Yeah, and I mean it just depends on your farmer and what he's supplementing his soil with. But they're full of wonderful minerals that the body can use right away. They call that bioavailable food state minerals.
Wow,
very important in our diets. What's missing in the standard American diet? Well, one of the things that's missing.
Courtney Coleman, you're just a never-ending flow of awesome information.
Don't get me started.
You can find more information from Courtney at cookwell.org. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, Randall. Happy holidays.
Yes, indeed. And stick around, everyone. We got a lot more coming up next. Learn how to be a beer expert. If you think you already are, think again. Randall White at Sidecar Restaurant in downtown San Luis Obispo with Josh Christensen, owner, general manager, cleanly shaven now after a successful Movember.
The wife couldn't be happier, Randall.
So now it's December. We've got the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and then, of course, the New Year. How does that affect what people can find on the menu here?
Well, we're certainly gearing up for the weather. It's colder now and looks like it's going to be like that for the rest of the month. We've got amazing comfort food that's just going to stick to your ribs and make you feel good. And, of course, we've got the libations to go along with them.
And New Year's Eve, a little something special here at Sidecar.
Possibly a little Disney-themed party, some music, some dancing, and just altogether silliness.
Still room for some company parties or get-togethers with friends?
Absolutely. Please give us a call. We love to accommodate.
And, of course, the cocktail menu always changing, and the staff here on their toes with what's new. Josh Christensen, owner, general manager at Sidecar Restaurant. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Great to see you, Randall.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Minutes now past the hour, and a very good day to you. I'm your host, Randall White, and welcome to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio's Market Fresh Hour. Nice to have you with us here on this chilly day. First off, I need to apologize. At the end of the last segment and at the start of the show, I said we'd be speaking with a beer expert. Of course, we all want to hear that, right? Known as the Cicerone during this segment of the show. But I got my days mixed up. And that's actually, I got my hours mixed up. It's coming up at 9:30 during our Sunday Fun Day hour. On Sundays, it's Market Fresh, from 8 to 9, and then Sunday Fun Day from 9 to 10. So sorry for the confusion. I also want to let you know that Courtney Coleman got cut off during our last segment before she could mention her upcoming class, Whole Foods Cooking 101 for busy people. That's all of us. Sunday, December the 15th. Just go to our website, cookwell.org, for location, hours, and other information. This portion of Eat, Drink, Explore's Market Fresh Hour brought to you by Sidecar Restaurant. That is in downtown San Luis Obispo on Broad between Higuera and Marsh Streets. So if you're not familiar with the downtown SLO, that's in the heart of it. Now is the time to book your holiday party at Sidecar. They tell us that they still have spaces available. The food, as you know, always fresh, local, seasonal, sustainable, grown by small family farms right here on the Central Coast. Find Sidecar Restaurant online at sidecarslo.com and let them know you heard about their fantastic restaurant. It really is a fantastic restaurant right here on the radio. So record cold temperatures have hit portions of the state over the past several days, and that has everyone from big farmers to, your local gardener, doing what they can to save their crops or their plants. And the first day of winter hasn't even hit yet. That's still a couple of weeks off. So this is a good time to bring in an expert for tips on which plants are the most vulnerable, what you can do to protect them, and what happens if you don't. Steve McShane is owner of McShane's Nursery in Salinas. You can find them online at mcshanesnursery.com. That's MCSHANES nursery.com. Welcome to the program, Steve.
You bet, Randall. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. And I bet you're getting a lot of calls around this time saying, oh, no, what do I do? Do I have to cover my entire backyard in plastic?
Oh, tons of calls. Plants are part of the family. And for folks that like to live on the adventurous side, some of those rare fruit growers out there growing subtropicals and even tropicals here along the Central Coast, they're particularly susceptible. And we need to talk about what measures can be taken to protect their family members.
Right. And so for the big farmers, I know they pull out the giant wind turbines and they want to mix up that air because there's typically an inversion layer, 40, 50, 6 feet off the ground. And if they can pull down that warm air and mix it with the cold air that is pooled and settled right along the trees there, they can bump it up just enough so that it's above 32 and keeps that fruit from being severely damaged. But we don't have those big wind turbines in our backyard.
Well, some folks will actually move towards using fans. And you see some of the larger operations with smudge pots where they're actually burning petroleum fuel to actually add some heat to the blocks that are in particularly bad areas. But for the backyard gardener, we have to be a little more creative, no doubt about it.
And so what we did, we have a avocado tree that we started from a seed. From my in-laws have a half dozen or so avocado trees, full-grown avocado trees in their backyard. And so a seed from one of those avocados, we did the old toothpicks in a cup of water thing on the counter. And then it's really started growing roots and a plant was popping out. So I was like, well, I guess we have a full-fledged tree here, and we put it in a big pot. So I don't know, it's about 4 feet, about 3 feet tall right now. And so we picked that thing up and moved it under the overhang. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's going to help. Folks that live right on the ocean, say Shell Beach, Cayucas, Big Sur, they're not going to have to deal with as big a problem as the people who are in the inland valleys. Keeping plants closer to the home, if they're on casters or in containers, getting them either indoors or as close to the home as possible is a good move. And that's, in the 20s, 26, 28, even as high as, 29, 30, those are the types of things we can deal with. But once the USDA or the Weather Service is telling us it's going to be in the teens, that's when we really have to worry. Covering plants is probably the number one way that people defend against frost. You'll see people with sheets and towels. The best you can do is get a hold of some insulate frost fabric from your favorite garden center. That'll give you up to 8 degrees of protection. There's a space-age NASA-designed fabric that will actually do a terrific job to keep the frost from burning plants.
Really?
That tends, so covering plants, getting them out of that still dry, cold air is going to be a good defense, no doubt about it.
And just plain old plastic can actually hurt the plants, I've heard.
Yeah, something as thin as that's actually going to conduct the cool air is actually going to do some damage. So more of an insulation helps. There's also a product out there called Wilt Stop. It's also known as Cloud Cover. And what that is it's actually a protective coating you can put on the leaves. It's almost like, putting the insulation where it's needed most. The Wilt Stop that I'm a big fan of is actually a pine resin-derived product. It's natural and organic, if you will. And that'll give you 4 or 5 degrees of protection. And depending on the crop, it's really going to make that difference that that you need.
Now, there's a couple of different things going on here. For some people, it's the fruit that they don't want damaged. Certainly for the citrus growers, that's the situation. As I understand it, when you open up an orange section, you can see the little tiny pieces that are like, I don't know, if you bite them between your teeth, they kind of pop. I don't know what you would call those, but when the liquid freezes, it expands, and then that breaks that membrane. And when it unfreezes, then you tear open the fruit, and it has that kind of torn up look inside, and it's dry, and it's just not very good. That's what happens to the citrus anyway. So you have the fruit that you might be worried about, and then you have the plant itself that you might have to be worried about. So I would imagine, Steve, that first to go would be the fruit, and then the deeply colder temperatures is when you start worrying about the plants. Do I have that in the right order?
You see damage in both cases, and most of the folks listening to the program and most of the folks I counsel are more worried about the plant, actually. Okay. They don't want their subtropical baby to, pass on.
Yeah.
And so it's the investment in whatever else. I mean, in my garden, I've got cherimoya, guava, passion fruit, and even papaya.
Wow.
And trust me, I get excited. I've tried everything from Christmas lights and Afghans to, fans and, heaters even. So at the end of the day, I'm always looking for good solutions. And, at the end of the day, it's that keeping it covered. The wilt stop goes a long way. A lot of folks will also get the advice that it's important to irrigate. And the challenge there is, freeze damage is really the expansion of water in the leaf cells, and it's the sunlight the next day when the cells really burst they've bursted at their weakest points, and they're subject to dehydration. So we don't want that freeze to happen. And if you irrigate literally the night of, the water can help to add a number of degrees, as it actually will provide a heat source against that cold, dry, still air that's literally settling and doing the damage we don't want. So irrigation literally the night of helps. And in some cases, people will actually put out big pans of water, big tubs of water, because, again, that water may be 40 degrees in temperature or 45 degrees in temperature, and the cool air is 25 degrees, and it's actually a heat source, believe it or not, in that freezing temperature.
So, Steve, when you say irrigate, you mean literally water your plants, but you're not talking about how the orange growers spray the oranges so that they become coated in a blanket of ice, right?
Right. So that's a strategy that the commercial growers will employ when they know it's going to be super, super, super duper cold. They know that ice, though it will damage the crop and likely do some damage to the trees, quite a bit in many cases, it'll actually insulate against deep, deep damage. So it's, in that case, when you see growers irrigating when they know it's super cold, then the situation's really bad.
So as the winter progresses and we have repeating cold snaps, as we will, what are some of the key degree points that we should be concerned about if we have some of these subtropical plants and such? 32 degrees, we all know, because that's where water freezes. But is that the number we need to be worried about?
Well, you got to know your plants like you know your family, like you know your pets. Head to your local garden center and ask them, because it's going to depend. An avocado is different than a hibiscus is different than a babaco papaya. So knowing the varieties of plants that you're worried about, and they'll usually have a list and some strategies, and then keeping in touch with the local weather. And as soon as you see a frost warning for certain parts of the county, then paying attention and taking action. Light protection is literally a sheet or towel. Better protection is that frost fabric I mentioned, and maybe the insulate, the wilt stop, pine resin-based spray, and ultimately, perhaps even irrigating literally the night of to employ, again, that heating capacity from the water that comes out of the hose.
And palm trees, for the most part, they can handle this up to a point.
Yeah, I always tell people the younger the tree, the more susceptible. I've seen mature palms of all varieties do really well. Well, not really well. You'll see some burn, but they'll make it even into the teens.
Oh, that's good. Steve,
boy.
I got to cut you off there. Steve McShane, nursery owner at McShane'sNursery.com. Great info. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Randall.
Good luck hand-pollinating all that cherimoya. All right.
Okay.
All right. Stick around, everyone. We're back in just a moment.
Eberly Winery, whether you're looking to host a private event or special occasion like a wedding or a birthday, the staff at Eberly will make sure you have great wine, good times, and memories to last a lifetime. Eberly Winery is open daily, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with complimentary wine tasting so you can find the perfect wine to pair with your holiday gatherings. Bring in a new unwrapped toy and receive 20% off all wine purchases. Also, at Eberly, complimentary tours of the production facility and the world-famous Eberly Caves are held throughout the day. VIP tours and tastings are available for a unique and memorable experience. And coming in December, mark your calendars for the Eberly Winery Holiday Open House, Saturday, December 14th, noon till 4. There will be carolers, appetizers, and Gary's famous free barbecue. Visit Eberly Winery today to start planning your holidays.
Eberly Winery in the heart of Paso Robles wine country on Highway 46 East, just 3 miles from the 101. Find out more at EberlyWinery.com.
This fall, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is teaming up with the nation's leading gift company focused on experiences from skydiving to wine tasting, culinary tours to whale watching. You name the activity, and it's likely you'll find it on the Experience Days website. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener to our show, you'll get 15% off anything you buy on the site during the upcoming holiday gift buying season. It's really simple. Just use our 3-letter promo code EDE, which of course stands for Eat, Drink, Explore. Find Experience Days online at the letter Experience Days, all one word.com, or head to our website, eatdrinkexplore.com, and click on the menu tab for holiday gift ideas, and you'll be on your way to finding an abundance of unique gifts and saving a lot of money to boot. Remember the 3-letter promo code EDE for 15% savings on some of the best adventures California has to offer. And welcome back, everyone, to the Market Fresh program. It's now 49 minutes past the hour. Great to have you here, as always. Time for the final segment of our Market Fresh Hour. Keep in mind, we have one extra full hour of great food, craft beer, wine, travel, and tourism talk coming up 9 to 10 a.m. right here on this station each and every Sunday. Hey, it is persimmon season here in California. If you head out to your local farmer's market or to the grocery store, you'll see California persimmons presented in all their glory, bright in color and very, very flavorful. You can also get them dried, though, and that is the practice of one Sacramento area family that's been going on for many, many years. It's Otow Orchard, just outside of Folsom, I believe. And we have Tosh. Now, I want to make sure I get this right. Kuratomi on the line with us right now on the Market Fresh line. Welcome to the program, Tosh.
Thank you.
How was my pronunciation on everything?
It was great.
Okay, good. So persimmon season is just wrapping up. So I imagine that means your drying season is really picking up.
That is correct. We probably will go for another 4 to 6 weeks of drying. And luckily, persimmons, we have so many different varieties. We can hang on to the ones that get soft, and so the fresh persimmon will sell for probably another month or even 2 months.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because there's several different varieties, and myself included, but so many of us have the perception that there are two varieties, that there's the crunchy kind that's like an apple, and then there's the kind that you allow to get soft. But you tell me that Otow Orchard grows 9 different varieties.
That's correct. The fuyu, or the crunchy ones, we have, I think there's 7 varieties of that one alone.
Oh, okay.
And then we have 3 varieties, or 4 varieties that we call chocolates because the flesh is brown. And then we have 2 of the hachia type that are very astringent and have to be extremely soft in order to eat.
Yeah, if you accidentally bite into one of those before it's turned soft, that's just not a good experience, right?
Many people don't like persimmons for that very reason.
Because they think that that's what a persimmon is supposed to be like, I imagine.
Someone tricked them at some point in their young life. Yep.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Otow Orchard. It's been around for some time.
Well, it's been in my mother-in-law's family, or my wife's family, for 104 years.
Whoa.
Her mother's 97, and she still works every day.
Seriously?
I sit in here, I'm on the telephone, and she's out there squeezing persimmons, getting them ready for the drying process, and she works every day.
Wow, that's impressive. I love it. One thing we like to feature here on Market Fresh is family-run organizations and ones that have a California history like your own, Tosh. And so you're telling me now that you dry them, and how does that process work? That's an ancient process, is it not?
Okay, I'm not ancient, so I can't really tell you, but everybody pretty much agrees that it came over, at least, from Japan with the immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
They used to just do it for their families, more or less. Most people didn't get into it commercially because it's just too time-consuming, and the return is not that good, even though it's a very high-end retail price.
Right.
But at any rate, we take the hachia persimmon when it's still firm, and then we peel them. We always pick them leaving the stem on them so that we have something to tie to, and we string them up, and we hang them up outside for about a week. They start to get soft, and then we start to massage them. And that goes on for 3-4 days, and finally the inside is pretty much like a water balloon. We have to be very careful because since we've peeled them, they're very, very delicate, and if they burst open, the insides just kind of gush out.
And then it's ruined.
Then we leave them that way for probably a week, 2 weeks, depending on the humidity and the temperature of the weather around us here, and then they'll start to solidify, gel, sort of like a gel, and we continue to squeeze them at that point to keep it drying evenly, to make sure all the lumps are broken up, and if the skin in the wrinkles, it'll stay wet, you might get mold, so those are reasons for massaging it.
Mm-hmm.
We keep that up for 2 to 3 weeks when it's 40, 50 degrees like it has been. And then the critical part is to take them off the rack drying racks before they're too hard. And a lot of times the sugar doesn't show. The end product usually is white with sugar, and most of the time when you take them off the racks, they haven't reached that stage. And if they're dry enough, we put them into plastic bags. If they still need to dry some more, we put them into paper bags. We shake these bags up every day. At this point, we usually get into the bag every day or every 2 days to check on the progress. When it's dry enough, we get it into the freezer. So the plastic bags would be tied up and put into the freezer for 2 days, kind of a food safety issue. And then it comes out of there, and again, we open the bags and we're shaking the bags up to keep the air circulating. Close the bags up so that it doesn't dehydrate. And then the final process, we would take each and every individual one and we would roll them. And what we mean by roll them is we lay them out on a piece of corian using a dowel for a rolling pin. We massage them with a little bit more force, and we try to get them nice and soft, and we try to get them as smooth as possible. And while we're doing this, because the persimmon has naturally dehydrated, the surface is coated with a glaze. So as the moisture was escaping and evaporating, then it left behind the sugar. And so that sugar then starts to turn white as we manipulate it. I tell people it's like in the movies when you see a window break, it glitters just like glass, even though it's sugar water.
Right.
And so that's what's happening with persimmon. As we massage it, it breaks up the surface glaze, and it sparkles.
So from
white.
Oh, keep going.
So then at that point we grade them, and mostly they're being graded on texture, but secondarily on size, looks, time of the year that we dried them. If they dried in September, they get graded down. If they dried in December, they get graded up. So
what's the time length from the time that they got picked from the tree to the time that you're grading them?
Pretty much about 7 to 8 weeks.
7 to 8 weeks, wow.
Yep.
And then you ship those all over the world?
All over the country. If it goes out of the country, then we have to get it inspected, so therefore we leave it up to the customers to take care of that themselves. But, yeah, we've shipped it to 49 of the states, I believe.
That's fantastic. I love it. Tosh Kuratomi with Otow Orchard outside of the Sacramento area. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, and you can find our website if you need to contact us.
Yes, at otoworchard.com.
Very good.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, everyone, that does it for us for today's show. Don't forget to join us 9 to 10 right here on this station each and every Sunday for our Sunday Fun Day show. Fall, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is teaming up with the nation's leading gift company focused on experiences from skydiving to wine tasting, culinary tours to whale watching. You name the activity, and it's likely you'll find it on the Experience Days website. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener to our show, you'll get 15% off anything you buy on the site during the upcoming holiday gift buying season. It's really simple. Just use our 3-letter promo code EDE, which of course stands for Eat, Drink, Explore. Find Experience Days online at the letter Experience Days, all one word.com, or head to our website, eatdrinkexplore.com, and click on the menu tab for holiday gift ideas, and you'll be on your way to finding an abundance of unique gifts and saving a lot of money to boot. Remember the 3-letter promo code EDE for 15% savings on some of the best adventures California has to offer.